Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Blowout Growth Network. Really happy to have you here today. Today, we're going to talk about how to level up your game, level up your personal life, level up your business life, your career life. I'm going to give you some pro tips and tricks to help elevate and graduate your business and your career. That's my contact information. I'll put it up again at the end of the video, and it's down below, I'm sure. So, for those of you that follow me, you already know this. For those of you that are new to the channel, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Aretos. I am a consultant. I specialize in real estate investments, business and real estate agent consulting. I also do some personal coaching on the side, typically with the people that are within this realm. I've got 27 years in business and in Las Vegas, and my group handles all types of real estate from wholesale and the low end to luxury residential, commercial, office, retail, industrial, new construction, development. My group does it all. I've consulted so far in my career over 100 individuals and businesses of all sizes over the last 16 years that I've been consulting. And I've personally been a real estate investor since 1997, so I understand the market really well. I've been a licensed real estate broker salesperson since 2015. I've consistently hit 90% of my yearly goals on average, year over year. I've had good years, I've had bad years. I've made money and I've lost money. I've got experience on both sides of the spectrum, which I believe is one of the cornerstones of why I'm still able to consistently hit all of my goals in that way. And I'm here today to show you some pro tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. And for anybody that's interested in this kind of stuff and you're liking what I'm going to present here today, I definitely encourage you to follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Instagram TV on our channels there, because I also have other videos of interviews with other super successful people that are sharing their pro tips and tricks on how they got where they are. So lots of good stuff. If you're into this kind of stuff, please join us there. But first, I want to poll the audience. And when I do this live, it's a little bit easier because I have that personal interaction. So here, if you guys are interested in posting some answers to these questions, please do so down in the comments below, and we can talk about them. But it's always interesting to hear these, and you might not know why I'm asking them until later. But how many of you have done more than 2 deals in the last 12 months? And this is not just for real estate people, but this is for anybody that's watching that has any kind of transactional business. But how many of you have done more than 2 deals in the last year? How about more than 6 or 10 or 20? Put them down there. How many are you doing those kinds of deals? How many transactions? Any kind, anything that relates to your business. If you're making deals and that's how you're growing your business, and you're making sales, that's how you're growing your business. How many of you have done at least that many? How many of you are in the building stage of your business? I find right now, and over the last couple of years especially, lots of people are experiencing blowout growth. And the people that are bringing on consultants and trying to figure out how to help grow their business are the ones that are in the building stage of your business. Most of them have these vectors that are kind of going straight up and to the right. And it's a very interesting part of the business growth. So I'd like to know how many of you are in that building stage of your business. How many of you are starting out trying to develop business and build business? I want to also know how many of you plan time in your week to organize your week. And be honest with yourself about that. Be honest with me down there in the comments below. And how many of you are actually planning time in your week to organize your week? How many of you dedicate a portion of your earnings to improving your business? And be honest with yourselves on this. Be honest. Here's one that I always, especially at this stage, always get some weird faces on when you hear it. But how many of you can take a compliment? And be honest with yourself when you do. Or do you self-deprecate? Somebody tells you something nice. Oh, no, it's no big deal. Or no, it's hey, you did a really good job. No, it's okay. There's nothing. It's all right. It was no big. Or how many of you can actually just say, wow, thank you, and accept the compliment? I'll get to that a little bit later, why that's important. How many of you have a mentor, a coach, or a consultant? How many of you have ever thought about bringing somebody onto the team or partnering with somebody? Here's an interesting statistic, and I like to start off. It's 100%. 100% of you will achieve success if you prepare yourself for it. That's a guarantee. If you're prepared for success, if you do all that you can to up your game, level up, and make sure that you're not missing any opportunities, 100% of you will achieve success if you prepare yourself for it. I have seen it over and over and over and over and over. But how do you prepare? How do you prepare yourself for success? Henry Ford said that whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So you need to invest in yourself. And this is a lot about what the level up and the blowout growth mindset is all about. You need to level up. And you need to invest in yourself to do it. So you got to invest in you. You have to take the time to self-develop. And this means developing personally, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And those are all very separate things and have their own specific set of needs. And you need to be able to work on all of them. You need to master organizational skills, to-do lists, managing and mastering your calendar, scheduling, time management, task management, activity management. Did you know that there's even a difference between time management, task management, and activity management? We'll talk about that a little bit too. And I also have some breakout videos that will talk about this as well. Another thing too that I see, this is something that is strangely pandemic in its reach, but a lot of people that I consult, especially a lot of C-level and executives that I consult, have a problem with this, of setting realistic goals. And I cannot stress how important it is, whether you're just starting out in business, just starting out in your career, or just in general in your own life, how important it is to set realistic goals. In fact, in the future, this probably should get its own slide, and I probably should do a video on this one too. But it's of the utmost importance, because if you don't have realistic goals, then you're never going to be able to achieve enough to get you to your goal. So we could talk about that too, especially in our live presentations. For this, I get a lot of comments and conversation. We actually spend quite a bit of time on this. So I'd love to hear any comments on this one down below. If you want to put them down there, I'd love to chat with you about them. Here's another thing too that I see that definitely lacks just across the board. And if you really want to experience blowout growth, if you really want to grow your business and you want to see in your career, you want to see success, you got to educate yourself on the topics that matter to your industry. Don't wait for a CE class and then cram. I was in a business for many years. Our family owned a restaurant, pretty well-known, famous local restaurant for many, many years, which is one of the ways that I was able to build my network so much. But in that business, as an example, and in many other businesses, it is extremely dog eat dog. It's extremely competitive, and it's very close to the vest. People in a lot of other businesses, and many other businesses, don't want to share their experience. They don't want to share their information or their knowledge. And so they keep it very close to the vest, and it creates a very difficult environment to be able to experience growth, because you're always working against the grain and always having to, you don't have the information and the knowledge. It's just not there because nobody's sharing it. But in real estate, especially in development and investment real estate, and certainly on the agency level of real estate, it's just ripe with knowledge and information ready and available to be accessed. And it's amazing to me how few people in any business take the time to consistently educate themselves on the topics that matter to their industry. I couldn't stress it more. If you really, really want to grow your business or grow your career, how important it is to be educated on topics that are going on in your industry. It's something that you should spend a good amount of time on regularly. Every single week, you should be dedicating time to educating yourself on what's going on. Read journals. If you can, go to expos and put yourself into seminars or meetings or online, anything. The information's out there. This is a great time that we live in. Technology affords us the ability to share information, like those of you that showed up for this presentation, because you want to educate yourself on what's going on out there in in the world and learn from other people. It's never been a better time to educate yourself on topics that matter. And read. Audible and audiobooks. I mean, Audible, I'm a huge fan of it because you can bump the speed up. I like to listen at 3.5 to 4 times speed. It doesn't matter if you do. I'm just able to read more that way. But even if you're listening to it at 1, it's the most incredible ability because you could throw it on in the car while you're driving to and from appointments or going to lunch or driving to work in the morning. It's a way to educate yourself and give yourself constant motivation. Some of the meetings and the interviews that I do with people on the Blowout Growth Network, I ask them what keeps them motivated. And almost all of them have some kind of a version of educating themselves, reading, or staying abreast of topics that are important to them and pertinent to their industry. So it's super important to do it. Here's another interesting number, 19,500 plus. That's the number that the Realtor Association reports that they provide services to. This many licensed realtors in Las Vegas. So what makes you stand out? What makes you stand out? Not just in real estate. Let's talk about this. Competition is huge in every business. What makes you stand out to your clients and customers? Do you have anything? This is something that is a huge challenge for many people in many different avenues. It's not something that's specific to real estate. It certainly is rampant and definitely a disease in real estate. But every business at some point or another, every entrepreneur has a challenge getting your message straight. Instead, many businesses and careers get stuck here and never ever past this point. And it's tough. It's hard to figure out how to do it, especially if you don't have a network, especially if you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach or somebody that's trying to give you some ideas on how to do it, which we're doing today. But get your message straight. It's important. I see too many agents. I see too many businesses. I see too many representatives from different businesses without a message. They have no identity. But in real estate, it's certainly rampant. I actually see, and I don't know if you all pay attention, but I do pay attention. And I see so many, especially female agents, that are marketing themselves, dancing around on poles, literally pole dancing in their social media and the way that they're marketing themselves, posting pictures in bikinis, most of them half naked, or some of them will post, just being out partying, pouring alcohol into their mouths as a method of marketing themselves. You got to ask yourself, what are these agents really selling? What are you selling? If you're trying to gain a business client to either use you for a service or sell them a product, unless you're in the business of selling bikinis, then what are you actually selling? And then more importantly, who's buying it? You have to get your message straight, and you got to be consistent in delivering it, because keeping your message consistent throughout time builds trust. And trust is how you grow your business. Trust equals consistency. And there's methods, there's lots of sales methods. There's some really great coaches out there that can talk to you about sales coaches and methodology and mindsets to be able to create trust. But consistency is really the most easy to apply is consistency to this equation. And it starts with getting your message straight. Pick a message and then deliver it consistently. Build trust that way. So I want to talk about bringing value. What does that actually mean? You have to bring value. And I think that is what having a consistent message really is what is my value proposition to new business, to clients, to customers, B2Cs, B2Bs? What does that mean? How do I bring value? And this goes along with what sets you apart. What sets you apart? How do I bring value? So I've done my best here to kind of, black out and cross out here anything that gives you an idea, but I wanted to show you it was from somebody here local in Las Vegas, and they happen to work with Berkshire Hathaway. And let's just read this together. This is a marketing piece that somebody markets themselves. This is what their value proposition is. I have undergone extensive training, caps, on how to offer you the best, quote, client service, end quote. With that, I am asking you to hire me to serve you. I will make you a, quote, personal promise to serve you with honesty and integrity and give you the utmost care in the process of, quote, selling your home for what you want and when you want, or purchasing your new home, quote unquote. Please allow me to help you by calling me for an appointment to meet with you to show you how I will accomplish this and to get your house with a sign, quote unquote, sold. I look forward to meeting with you. Best regards. I mean, aside from the fact that there's a a bunch of grammatical errors in here, which also doesn't really bode well for your perspective that you're trying in your brand and your image that you're trying to portray. But what are you actually selling here? What is this person selling? Please allow me to help you. I'm begging you to please allow me to help you by calling me. What am I selling? I'm going to serve you with honesty and integrity. This is all great. I'm not saying that these aren't great things, but this is the core. If you're not operating with integrity, if you're not operating with the utmost care, if you're not there to serve, if you don't have your systems down and all you're saying is, you can call me at any time of the day or night, and I'm here to serve you, and I'm here going to, answer every single call. You can call me if you're struggling. It has nothing else. What else do you bring to the table? Do you know what you're doing? These are the kinds of things, A, that are ruining the real estate business, especially for agents in the middle of the market. But B, just in general, I see this all over the place in all kinds of businesses. There's no consistent message. There's no value proposition. So you got to figure out how you do it. Here's an interesting statistic. 0.5 or 1/2. This is what sales data shows, that on average, those 19,500 plus licensed realtors, the average realtor does only one transaction every 2 years or a half a deal per year. How do you have the amount of experience that you need to provide any value to somebody if you're doing a half a deal a year? So you have to become a master at your craft. You've got to know your shit. And this is where and how you bring value. So you got to know your stuff. You got to get the basics down and do them well. So service, quality, integrity, all the stuff that was in that marketing piece, those are the core basics. If you're not doing that, at least that, you got to change whatever business you're doing in, because you don't love it enough. You're not passionate enough to go out and learn how to get the basics down and do them well. Don't try to do something part-time, especially not in real estate when you're dealing with what is for most people the highest price tag deal or transaction that they'll ever do in their lives. So get the basics down and do them well. I cannot stress this enough in any business. And you got to know the documents, know all of the forms that are pertinent to your industry inside and out, especially in real estate. You have to know the ones that are in every transaction, and you've got to be able to explain them to your clients line by line. You've got to be able to provide explanations for their questions. I cannot tell you how many people in the real estate industry and how many people in general, even attorneys, you have to interview them well. They're not all the same. Every document, some know what they're doing, some don't. It's really tough. Real estate, even more so, really tough. And in residential real estate, there is actually a set of documents that are, common documents that are approved and that are used commonly in transactions. You got to know them all. In commercial real estate, every transaction has a different document. They're all drafted by attorneys. You got to know your stuff, or else you have no value. You got to be thorough, and you have to double check things. And if you're no good at it, then you need a partner that can do it for you. You have to know your market. You have to know, this is a huge one, where to get accurate, reliable information so that you can be an ombudsperson for your clients. What's an ombudsperson? Does anybody know? An ombudsperson, you'll see this a lot in scholastic environments, is a person that transfers information from one party to the other. They're a mediator. They're in the middle. They don't mediate, I'm sorry, but they're a medium for two different parties that are exchanging information. And that, as a real estate agent, that is truly your job. Your job isn't to interject anything into the conversation and give your opinions. It's not there to try to tell these people, that your clients and customers, what to do. You're there to provide information. You're not there to be their servant. You're there to provide them information so that they can make the best decision. And most businesses that are, especially service businesses, operate this way. For product-based businesses, the product is providing the service or the benefit to them. It's the same concept. But you have to know where to get accurate, reliable information. And most, especially in real estate, most people don't do that. They're listening to other people. They're getting a rumor. They're hearing this. They're seeing some news that may be fake news, and then that's it. They're passing that on. It may not be accurate or reliable. You have to know where to go. You have to find it. And you got to know your role. Now, if you don't know where to find this information, that's part of what I do for consulting. This is part of the benefit from having a huge network, is knowing who to call when you need to find information. But if you don't have somebody like me in your life or in your business, you have to find someone or somewhere to find this information. And then you have to know what your role is. And you're the ombudsman of information. You have to know where to go for it or who to call to get it. That's what I excel in, and that's the majority of my consulting business is exactly this, helping people get information for the things that they need to know so they can make their decisions and know who to call to get that information and that other additional service to help them make their decisions. And you have to spend time preparing. This goes to all things, especially in business. A lot of people don't spend time preparing. And I see this a lot in real estate agents. I mean, they're still stuck in a very high school mentality. You know, I'm going to cram. My license is due in on Friday, and somebody's like, all my CE courses this week, and I'm like, bang. How can you even learn? You're not even doing yourself a good service, but you're definitely not doing your clients a good service if you're going to treat your license that way. If you're not going to constantly try to educate yourself, you're just going to wait for one moment to just cram it, get it all in. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be there. And you need to be thankful that you're in a business that provides information. You need to be able to enrich yourself so that constantly you're having information. Otherwise, you have no value. And become a master of your calendar. This is another very important thing. Be able to understand how to manage and budget your time and think sideways on different types of things, like what I mentioned earlier about being able to think of how you're managing that time in different ways. Project management and task management, aside from just simple time management. Those are great skills to master. And if you want to know some more information about that, it's part of the consulting that I provide to help people learn how to master their calendar. And once you do that, you unlock this whole new set of tools and weapons to add to your arsenal to be able to really go out there and get that blowout growth, because you can handle a whole new set of challenges with ease. And schedule actions in that time. And this requires a mindset shift. We could talk more about this in future sessions. You might also see a video or two about this on my channels. How do you schedule actions in that time? Well, it requires a mindset shift, and that's it takes a little bit of effort by you to be able to get yourself into that. But I think that's why you're here. That's why you're listening to this today. Let's go back to this. It's important. It deserves some conversation to know where to find accurate information. I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. Don't repeat rumors. You have to know your sources so that you can be valuable to your clients, and this is how you prove value. So where else can you do that? Well, if you're playing to your strengths and being realistic about your goals, realistic about what you can achieve, what you're good at, what you're not good at, then you know what you do great and you know what you do not do great. Don't think that you can do it all. That's a huge thing that a lot of people, especially really high-powered people that are very driven, people that are very focused on their goals, that are out there, alphas, or people building the business, founders, CEOs, people that are C-level executives that are making decisions, don't think you can do it all. It's so easy because you're used to building it. You're used to hustling. You're used to being that entrepreneur that builds a business that goes out there. But remember to be realistic and know what you do great. And for the things that you don't do great, hire or partner with people that can fill your gaps and whose gaps you can fill. Find people that do what you don't do well, that can do that really great. And it works great if you can fill in their gaps for things that they don't do well and be great at. Those are great partnerships. And if you can't find a partner, then hire somebody. Another thing too here that you need to level up is to know your competition. And that can go in any part of the business, in any career. Know who your competition is. It's so important, and as a service to your clients and to yourself, to know what you're up against out there, what's available. Educate yourself on what's going on out there. That's part of educating yourself on the topics that are important to your industry. Know your competition. Know what your clients are looking for. Know what options they have. Don't be myopic about it. Don't think that what you've got is the best. And even if it is the best, don't think that it's going to be the best tomorrow. There's somebody out there trying to eat your lunch. That's the one thing I love. Mark Cuban never wrote a book, but he wrote some memoirs through journals that he's had over a while. And if you look online, it's pretty short and it's interesting. But the best thing I think he says in there is that every single day you have to wake up and think that somebody's out to get your lunch. Somebody's out to eat your lunch. And that keeps you on the edge to know your competition, know what's out there. Also, and this is a topic for a completely different presentation, but I do want to mention it here. It's the importance of financial literacy. And this is something that most people are not good at. Most people don't understand taxes. They don't understand bookkeeping. They don't understand budgeting money. They never teach it to you in school. It's nowhere in the licensing of any portion of our license that we get. For most industries, they don't teach you financial literacy. It's unless you're a business major or finance major, and you're going into that business. Typically, they don't teach any college courses on it. It's impossible. It's impossible because most families have no financial literacy, so they can't even pass it on to you for the most part. But educate yourself on it. If you're able to do it, if you're able to have that knowledge, great. If you're not, I cannot stress how important it is to hire somebody to do this. Hire a bookkeeper, hire an accountant, hire a financial advisor, talk to people that are better at it than you are. And it will help you tremendously, because most people don't think about paying their taxes when they get a commission. Most agents, for example, don't realize that if you're making $9,000 on something, you're actually only making about $5,000 on it, or whatever that number works out to be for your personal situation that you can ask your accountant or your financial advisor about. They don't even really know that, so they can't budget it. They can't invest in themselves. They don't know how to spend the money. They're just taking it and spending it for living costs. It's a whole other game that requires some conversation and some attention. I cannot stress to the importance of this. So please educate yourself financially, or find somebody that can. And here's another one that is very important, and it has a lot of different implications and applications, especially now in this world that we live in. People really tend to misunderstand being authentic. A lot of people think that being authentic means that anything that comes out of your mouth is okay, and that I can say or speak my opinion on anything that I have to say, and you have to accept it no matter what, and that's being real. Well, being real isn't being authentic. Being real, quote unquote, or at least the different slang that's used for those kinds of things in today's world, the younger generations younger than me, probably the people that are trying to hustle and entrepreneur and be those entrepreneurs that are trying to level their game up and find this blowout growth. It's very important that you understand what that actually means, be authentic, and I'm here to tell you. Being authentic means having that consistent message. Find something that you're truly passionate about and make that your mission statement, and create a mission statement for yourself. If you don't have one, spend time. That process is something that I do in my consulting to help you figure out how to create that mission statement and find that consistent message that helps you to build your business and grow. But being authentic doesn't mean that you just say whatever comes to your mind or give your opinion on everything. It doesn't matter. Being authentic means, if you decide you want me to work for you, here's what you can expect from me. And have a passion about what you do. Be so passionate that you know your topic and your industry inside and out. And if you're not that passionate about it, then you need to be real with yourself and say, well, maybe this just isn't for me. And that's okay. But go and find it. You owe it to yourself. Life is short. Be really good at something. Find something that you love so much that you can be authentic, that you can know so much about, that it just lights you up. And when you do it, you don't feel like work. And that's what I do. That's what I found. I found my passion. And I can be authentic. I love real estate investment. I love consulting on it. I love to be able to share my experience with people because I've had a lot of success with it. And it's wonderful to be able to see other people level up their games to continue to provide challenge and competition in the marketplace, so that clients and us, because we're all customers and clients of each other too, level up our games and have the best possible product or service to offer. And that's what being authentic is about. Being authentic is loving what you do and loving it so much that you find out everything you need to know about that. And you're in the game and you're always on the edge and the top of the line with everything that's going on. You've got your finger on the pulse. That's being authentic. And that's a consistent message that's easy to deliver. Now, this is the fun part, especially I love doing this one in person because it's something that people really like to talk about. And I hope that you did take some time at the beginning of this to ask yourself, can you take a compliment? And why is that important? Well, being able to take a compliment shows that you're very comfortable with yourself. It shows not only that you are happy with who you are, but that you understand that somebody else sees it in you. And if they're giving you a compliment on your work or on your attitude or on anything at all, if you are the type of person that can't take that compliment, then it shows as a lack of confidence. It shows that it makes people feel like you really maybe aren't as good as what they thought. But if you could simply say thank you, somebody says, hey, Gio, man, you're amazing. I really loved your presentation. Or, hey, you did an amazing job in this negotiation for us. Or, hey, something that I've done recently, you've really done a great job creating this new position and then hiring and training somebody to do it for us. The human relations aspect of the business, or whatever it is. If I'm just there like, no, you know what? No, it was nothing. It wasn't, it wasn't as great as you think it is. Thank you, but no thank you. all that does is just downplay all of the work that I've put into myself that got me there, that got the people there that wanted to work with me. So I always make it a point. It's something that people, and you can see if you think about it yourself and you put that on yourself, how do you feel when somebody does that? When you give them a compliment, it doesn't give you the greatest feeling for them. And it tears down a lot of maybe what you thought. And maybe you start questioning yourself, well, maybe this person isn't as great as I think they are. And it's a nature, it's a human nature thing. It's not a conscious decision that we make. That's just human nature. So I'm out here to tell you, take a compliment. Get good at it. Do it in the mirror. Do it with somebody that you trust. Have them practice with you and find what's comfortable. It took me a long time. It was very hard to do for me, very hard to do. But I really do truly enjoy helping people and sharing my experience and knowledge with them. So when somebody really gives me a heartfelt thank you, it makes me feel good. And I say, thanks. Thank you. It's a great compliment. Thank you so much for seeing it in me, or whatever the situation is. And now I want you to go out and apply it. I want you to just do one thing. I put a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of it, in the time frame that we have for this, it's a lot of stuff there. Go and just pick one thing that you learned today and work on it for a week and make that change today. Whatever it is that stood out from you, whatever one thing that you're like, wow, yeah, take that and go and apply it today and start making that change and stick with it for a week. Actually, the human psychology studies have been done in human psychology, and they say that the human being needs anywhere between 12 and 21. 21 is actually the number. For some people, it's more like 30, 40. But they say that 21 on average is the amount of times, repetitions that the human brain needs to create a new habit. It has to be a consistency. So if you do something once a week, you need 21 weeks for it to become regular, to become a habit. If you do it, and you can't just do it all in one day, 21 times. It has to be something consistent, right? We said this before. It needs to be something consistent. And if you're really paying attention to it, start out by doing something for a week and start applying it, and you'll start seeing results from it. So really thank you for being here today. For more pro tips and tricks to help elevate and graduate your business career, I ask that you please join us over here on our social media. We're on Instagram and we're on YouTube right now, and Instagram TV. Those are our hashtags that we're using, so please look us up. There's a lot of videos that are up and coming that I'm continuing to put up on a regular basis. Our channel is coming together, and the interviews are going to be up soon with some really interesting people that are going to share some more knowledge. You can point your camera at this QR code here and be taken right there for it. This has been the Level Up. If anybody wants to talk about what we can do and what I can do to help you and your business, please reach out to me. The contact information is here. Send me a text or send me an email. I'd love to chat with you and see how I can help you level up your game. Thank you so very much for joining us today. I really appreciate you being here with me at the BlowOUTGrowth Network. Go out and have a great week and go kill it.